want to welcome everybody to our June exhibit comment night. It's June the 19th, 2025. Got to welcome some people tonight. We've got some new members. Roy, say hi and tell us about what photography you do.
Good evening. I mostly do wildlife, but I also am always available for targets of opportunity. So,
That's what we are. We're all about opportunity here. How did you find out about us?
Ron Buren
Okay.
just joined and he talked me into joining.
All right. Awesome. Well, welcome. Let's see who else we've got. Alexandra, tell us
Yes.
about you.
So I've been shooting real estate for work part-time since 2008, and then I love to chase storms, specifically storm clouds. And I also shoot macro flowers. And I'm obsessed with fireworks. So,
Good.
if it's a day off, you're not finding me at the spa. I'm probably gonna be chasing something.
Awesome. And
Yeah.
how did you hear about
Where
us?
is where is this voice coming from?
From Alexandra.
Alexandra.
Hey,
Yeah, I
nice.
mean, but where's the voice originated from? Where were you born?
Oh, you're talking about my accent. Well, I'm originally from Romania.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
All right.
haven't been there since I
International.
came
We're getting
here.
even more
So
international.
yeah, I
Mhm.
haven't been back since I came here in 2001. So it's been a long time. But yeah,
Mm.
and
Okay.
I knew of you from a long time ago, but my kids were little, so I didn't really have time to do anything. Now they're older, and I've been abandoned by my kids. They're like grown, and I'm like,
Wait,
help.
wait, wait, wait,
To
wait,
some
wait,
of
wait,
our
wait,
other empty
Alexandra.
nesters here.
Alexander, we all have been abandoned. That's why we're here.
One way
Yeah,
or
but I
another.
wasn't
Yeah.
ready for that yet.
Yeah.
This is like new territory. I
Don't
was
worry,
like,
they'll be
think
back.
I think you're
everybody.
our first Romanian. I think we haven't
Yeah.
had a
Yeah.
Romanian
Yeah,
before.
we have a Norwegian and a German and Chinese, and yeah, we've got quite a variety. And then we have Robert. Okay, I want to
Lonely
welcome
boy from
everybody.
Alabama.
Thanks everybody for coming tonight. I was hoping that we had a guest was going to come, but I don't see her here, so she may pop in sometime along the way. But anyway, just a few announcements. Jim, as you may have noticed, is not here tonight. He is in Death Valley, doing a scouting trip for a workshop he's putting together, supposedly in November. So I'm sure you'll be hearing more about that shortly from him if you're at all interested in going to Death Valley. Death Valley it's an amazing place. It is very different from anything that we're used to around here. And you think, oh, it's just a bunch of sand. No, it's way more than that, believe me. And there's mountains, there's playa, there's mud, there is places where there's water, there's the sand dunes. So yeah, he's putting together a workshop. If so you're interested, keep that in mind for November. Those of you that attended the outing, thank you for coming at the collection of Palmetto on Saturday morning. I think there was 20 of us there. We had a great time. It's not a huge museum, but the people there are very nice, very accommodating. They allowed us to move things around so we could take pictures of the cars. And then after a little bit of confusion, because we tried to go one place for lunch and it was too crowded, we got everybody to this other little place that was very busy. And I think we made their week, not only their day, but the week. It was 17 of us coming in for lunch. So, those of you that I have, a few of you have sent me the photos. I sent out I realized after I sent that email out about the photos for the slideshow that I didn't put a date on it. So those that you have who've already sent them, thank you. The rest of you, if you could get them to me by July the 14th, that way I can make our slideshow up for our next exhibit comment meeting. We've got a couple of other outings in the works. As soon as I have anything specific for you, I will let you know. Hopefully within the next couple of weeks, we'll have one or two set up to go to. Someplace inside, so that we don't have to be out in this heat. Just to go over the assignments that are coming up, July is still life with lighting. So it can't just be something just sitting there. You've got to add some light to it, either hopefully via external light, off camera light, or if you have a window that lights them up, something that adds a light to that still life. August is food photography. Oh, on the still life, if you want to go back, and our speaker last month, Caroline, she talked about her flowers, her still life flowers, and how she lights those. So she lights those. Pardon? Oh, okay. Yeah, it was Caroline. And if you need the link, let me know and I will send you the link, because the special presentations that we have for those that are new are only available to the members, paid members. So you have to get the link from me. I normally, after the talk, I send out the link the next day to everybody that's a paid member. But if you've lost it, or if you want to go back and review it and you don't have, don't, or you one of our new folks, then let me know. And you can go back, and pick out any presentation and let me know if you want to watch it, and I'll send you the link. That brings me to August assignment, which is food photography. We haven't had a talk on food photography this year, but we had one year before last, I think. Alan Shapiro is one of the top food photographers in the country, spoke for us. And if you're interested in, this is very different from what you're used to seeing. It's very artistic. So, but food photography is the next one coming up in August. September is head portraits, toned, black and white toned. If you don't know what that is, we're going to have that next week in our our next education night. Robert's going to be talking about head portraits, creating head portraits that are toned in black and white, or black and white tone. I don't know how you say that properly, but so that will get you ready for the assignment in September. The next education night in July is another special presentation. This is fine art black and white photography by Jennifer King. She's one of the top fine art photographers in the United States. She's taught it in many, many places, and she's going to be something we've never really delved into before is fine art photography. I have a million questions. I hopefully think about it, what you want to ask her too, because she's a wonderful presenter, and I know you'll enjoy her. And in August, this is something we've traditionally done for the last 5 years since the pandemic, is Pier and Beer on our education night. We don't have an education night. We go out to the St. Pete Pier and we shoot. And then the best part is going up to the bar up at the top of the pier. And we try to get a table right on the edge, because they have actually a place where it's all open. And as long as it's not raining, we're good. And we can set up the tripods along the glass front of the restaurant and shoot the skyline of St. Petersburg. And last year we got some awesome clouds for sunset. Year before we got lightning out on the Gulf. It's one of those places where we can sit there, have a drink, get some bar food, and just hang out and shoot some photography from the top of the pier. So that's in August. That will be our education night in August. Robert, do you have anything you want to add?
Yes, just to the new folk. I want you guys to know, new
You're
people.
muted.
Okay. No, I'm not.
I can hear.
You're not hearing me?
I hear
We hear
you,
you.
Robert.
I can hear you.
I hear you.
Okay. Just to the new people, if you have not entered anything into this exhibit, understand that this exhibit is not like anything you've experienced. We are not here to tear down or tell you what you did is bad or you should do it a certain way. We're here to sort of be in your ear for the next shoot that you do. So
And the rest of your life.
Take everything we say with a grain of salt, and it's not to say that we're better than or less than or equal to. It's just to say that here are some alternative ways of thinking. So that's what I want to make sure that you understand, as you go through this exhibit, if you haven't already.
So Robert, I have a question. In preparation for your head photography technical night, would it be a good idea to acquire a guillotine?
By the way, people who don't know how to do jokes, it comes with the territory. And so So yes, we're here to have a lot of fun
Yeah,
and bring your guillotine with you.
yeah.
Uh,
Any
but yes.
Awesome. Okay, anybody have any comments or questions? Oh, I do have one other thing. We have set the date for our Christmas party. Believe it or not, we have to do it this early because we have to reserve the pavilion, and it is on December the 7th, which is a Sunday. And it will be at Safety Harbor at the Felipe Park again, as we have had for the last 5 years. Works the best there. And obviously, all the details and all the signups will be done later in the year, but just put that date down for December the 7th. Um, okay, I think that's all I had. This is something we started mid-year last year. It's called our monthly member feature. And we used to be able to enter a whole lot of pictures back in the day. Some back in the in-person days, some people could put in 10, 12 pictures. And so we saw a lot of pictures. But as we went on Zoom, we had to keep the time down to a minimal, to a reasonable amount of time. So we're only seeing 2 pictures from each person each month. And so we decided to highlight our members, what they're, maybe a trip they've been on or what they're shooting a lot of. We've been designating a person each month to be our highlight person, our member feature. And so this month is Richard Edwards. And so Richard, are you ready to go ahead and share?
Yeah, do I hit the green share button?
Yeah, hit the green share button, and then there over to the right-hand side, you're going to see another square with some choices you want to check. Do you enhance the audio and enhance the video?
Okay. I don't see those.
They should come up when you click on the share button.
Hit the share. Okay, hit this share.
Yep, there you go. Okay, go for it. I'm seeing it.
Okay, hi. Started off with a picture I took in 1972. And from this, you can kind of determine that I'm interested in street photography, people's faces. This was done with an old Nikon F2 on film, and I developed the film myself and printed the picture. In fact, I copied this from a print I have displayed in my house. Uh, so it's always been people for me. That doesn't mean that I'm not into wildlife. I enjoy wildlife. I enjoy flowers, macro photography, landscape. And when I get into animals, I call this animal portraits because what I seem to and really enjoy is shooting portraits, but that, of course, transfers over to people. This was a fox. In fact, there's a new family of foxes at our neighbor across the street, and I got this last summer. And another portrait. I try for a different perspective when I get out on the street and find things that are a little different. Today in the newspapers and on TV, we see pictures of the police all the time. Usually, right now, we see demonstrations, but I like to capture something a little different, a little of the human side of the whole range of emotions you'll find even in the police. This is Ybor City. And I look for different things as I'm going too. This was a trip I took to Ellis Island. And on the boat going around, of course, you pass the Statue of Liberty. And I thought it was interesting to frame the Statue of Liberty and this girl taking a selfie of herself. I like to shoot artists, so I'll go to art fairs. And artists are usually, because they're people who display their images too, or their other kinds of art, they're interested in art, and they usually will be complicit in me allow me to take their pictures. So I enjoy doing that, even doing their artwork. This guy on the right wasn't sure if he wanted me to take his picture, and he's kind of, even though he's out of focus, you can see he's got a kind of a questioning look, but I liked his statue. That was his statue that he did, his iron work that he did. Um, Tattoos, I have an affinity for tattoos. And when I was young, it was only soldiers who came back from the army and had tattoos. And today they seem to be very popular, and you can find them all over. And so I incorporate when I see somebody with a tattoo, and usually they're displaying them, they're not ashamed of their tattoos, and they're happy to, if you ask them, mind if I take a picture of you with your tattoo? And I phrase it just that way. Oops. Let me go back one. Musicians. I really enjoy photographing musicians. Very often they are so engrossed in what they're doing, they don't pay any attention to you. Their hands are wonderful to capture. I love this guy's finger. It looks like he hit it with a hammer before he was playing his banjo. I like the light, and I like the fact that they are intimately involved with their instruments. And sometimes their instruments are really, and very often they're the microphones. So I incorporate the microphone in there when I have a singer or a musician. Sometimes I will ask them to look at me if I can do that, or if I wait for them because they're looking out at the audience, and they, of course, will wander around to the guy with the camera eventually. I wait for that, and I'll catch something like this. Street musicians are fun. And of course, rock concerts are good. I like the lighting at the rock concerts, um, and it usually at night it makes it even better. Children, I try to get children. Children can be tricky to get sometimes. Often I will get pictures of them and their parents don't even realize it. And then other times when I will ask, and sometimes the parent will say no, and that's perfectly okay. But very often they say yes. I like the rim lighting on these two. Um, the girl on the left, I was pretty far away from her, and she was being uh, talked to by her mother, and I love the face. I mean, you could tell she wasn't very happy about her mother's uh, instructions to her. But the boy on the right, I asked the parents, and he was carrying that watermelon. I thought it was perfect. He had a beautiful face and a beautiful smile, and they said, "Fine, let me take their picture, his picture." Sometimes parents too. This one I liked a lot. I shot this at a milk farm, which allowed you to tour the place, and I liked the way that the bars in the back kind of crossed at his head. I liked the way he was. The son wasn't looking at me, but he was kind of, crunched up against his dad, very comfortable. That's a nice, warm father-son picture. Hands are part of a portrait. I try to incorporate hands when I can. Um, this is obviously probably you could guess where I took this in Ybor City. And yeah, the hands are here too. But part of what I'm going through right now and trying to make decisions about is should I shoot in color or black and white? And so I'm doing a little of both. And that's the same thing in black and white. So it's a good uh, thing that many of the pros that I've seen and their photography that I've respected have shot in black and white. And so I'm going to try a little more black and white. In the old days, I printed my own black and white. So it was digital photography made color so easy that it's kind of taken people like me away from black and white. And I think I'd like to go back. I like groups when they're interacting with each other. This was taken at a farmer's market. Um, and this too, same farmer's market. You try to catch people involved with each other and not with you. And sometimes that works. You have to laugh with this one, right? I try to catch moods. So sometimes you'll catch people that are lost in their own thoughts, and that's a good thing. And sometimes they don't want you to take their picture, but they don't say it, but it's written all over their faces. And that's fine because you catch this kind of a face, which is just perfectly okay with me. And none of these three people never said a word to me about it after. Sometimes you get two people together and they're in totally different worlds. These are people in the audience of a concert, sitting there, an outdoor concert. And yeah. This is the state fair,
Cracker
I always
Country.
forget the Cracker
Cracker
County.
Country, yeah.
Yeah, Cracker Country. These pictures were taken 2 years apart, and if you look at the background is exactly the same. In fact, the same chalkboard writing is there. Two different subjects, and the lighting comes from the same open door in both. And of course, it hits the face of the one on the left and the back of the other one. And I just thought that was a perfect place to do it. Cracker Country is a wonderful place to go. And next time you go to the state fair, make sure you take a visit there and take a pic. The people there are very willing to pose. Here's the print shop there. And as I mentioned before, farmers markets up here in Georgia, where I am now, there's a great farmers market, and there are a number of them around. And you'll just not just the vendors, but the people who go in to purchase things or make good subjects, and they're many people are very willing to pose for these things. And if they aren't, you can catch them. Beards. I've got a thing for beards. I think they help make a picture. I enjoy it. This is one of my favorite guys. He's at that same Union County Farmers Market. He's the peach guy, sells peaches, and he likes to have his picture taken, as you might guess from this. And I've used him in many cases. I've photographed him for over a couple of years, and he knows me now. His name is Ray, and he always wears a different hat. And he's got these great eyes. And I'll do him in black and white. And I did use him for our textures assignment. That's him combined with an image of a rusty texture that I combined in post-processing. So portraits, you get them all over the place. This is a girl taking a break. She was one of the vendors at a market. Other things, they have something called the Sorghum Festival up here, which and they boil sorghum and make it's like a maple syrup, but it's sorghum, and they cook it on a stove. And he was the guy who was doing the cooking. And the other guy was just he was admiring this car. That he just loved it. He fondled it. Black and white again, I like. These are both at restoration villages. Both of these pictures were taken two different restoration villages in Florida. This again, Cracker Country on the right, and this guy on the left is Cracker Country, and on the right is a guy walking along the pier, the river walk, and just various places I love to go get pictures. I like pictures of older people. very often the character is written there. I happen to be an older person, so maybe that's why I have an affinity for them. Um, and I like faces. Sometimes I just, her expression got me. This guy is in the this time of year when pretty soon the corn is going to be coming up here. He's the best corn salesperson. His corn is magnificent up here. And in the fall, when the corn is finished, he sells pumpkins. So I just thought a portrait with his pumpkins was perfect. And he wasn't completely happy, and I liked the expression on his face. I didn't ask him. He just kind of looked at me. Anybody recognize this guy? He's one of the managers at the Columbia restaurant. And yeah, you'll see him if you go there. He's got a very lovely face. I love that face. I've shown this picture before. He's passed away since now. He was the patriarch of a farm family here, and he was always there at the farm. I kind of miss not seeing him. The thing with people is I always want to include people. I try to include people. Some of you may recognize these feet from the airport.
Oh, yeah.
I think many of you have been to the airport. You've seen these. I stood there and waited for some interesting person in the park in the airport behind him to complete the picture. Without the traveler walking by in the background, I think this wouldn't be quite the same picture. So I waited for that. And when I do street photography, very often it's waiting. And this was our trip on the trolley car, and that was a lot of fun. That I enjoyed that. I waited. I saw the chickens crossing this piece of pavement here at this monument, and I just waited for this guy, and he did it perfectly. He was in a perfect pose, and I just loved it. So, and this is more of a trolley trip. I waited for these. They were waiting on the other side of the street to cross, and I said, those lines make the thing. So I hoped to combine them in a composition. That's what I did. I think, Lynn, you got a picture of them too, didn't you?
Yeah, from the side. They were all like the same step and so I had the lines going the other way. So
Right.
I was over here on the other side of the street.
I didn't have the courage to ask them why they were all wearing red dresses.
It was Final Four week. That had something to do with the college, I'm sure.
Yeah, okay. And sometimes, yeah, you look for patterns and things. I thought this guy sitting there on his phone on the steps made a good composition. And this is the final. When we were going back in the trolley car, there were two guys there, and this guy was in this pose perfectly. And I asked him, "Would you mind if I took your picture?" And immediately he put his hands down. He said, "No, go ahead." Put his hands down. I said, "No, no, no. Please put your hands back up exactly the way they were." And he did, and I took the picture. So another example of how I enjoy people pictures, and that's it. So
Thank you.
thank you for looking.
Very something different. Yay.
Very nice.
That was
Thank you.
awesome. Mm.
Okay, click the unshare button now.
Okay. Let me get out of this.
There should be a button it should be a button somewhere that says unshare or stop sharing.
All right, what did I do here?
You go down to the bottom. It might be down at the bottom.
You are screen sharing. Stop share. Okay.
There you go. Awesome. Okay. Thank you, Richard. That was great. We don't have too many. You're one of I think our only portrait guy. So I'm gonna.
Richard.
Yeah.
I got
Yes.
a question, Richard.
Yes.
What kind of light do you use? Natural light or flash what?
Almost always natural light.
Mm.
Just got to look for the light.
Lighting.
Look for the light and ask them to turn.
Yeah, that's a challenge sometimes, the light.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think mostly the challenge is having the courage to go up and photograph people.
That's number one.
That's
Yeah.
Light second. Yeah.
we fail.
Okay, so I'm going to quickly go over how this our exhibition and comments work, just so our new folks will know. We ask our members they can put in two images, either a signed in general, one signed, one general, or two assigns or two generals. They can only do 2 images per month. They submit them to us by last Thursday. Then we have Robert is the one judge. Jim Sykes, who's not here tonight, is our other pro, and he's our other judge. And then each month, a different member is a judge. So this month, Sylvia was our third judge. And Jim actually did the scoring at 6:30 tonight, so we're good. It was 3:30 there in Death Valley, but he did it tonight because I was on my way doing it because I hadn't heard from him. Anyway, he did it. Anyway, the scores, what you will hear me call out is the combination, the raw score, or the combination of the 3 scores from each person. This doesn't do anything tonight. This is strictly for our end of year awards. And if you're interested in all that, you can, there's a section on our website that talks about how that is figured out at the end of the year. It's kind of complicated, so if you're interested, read that. But in terms of the scoring tonight, this score is not that important. It's maybe to you, but it's not that really truly that important because you're kind of competing with yourself. You're not competing with anybody else. There's no first place, there's no second place, all that kind of stuff on the monthly exhibits. What we do spend our time with, and that's why we prejudge them, is we talk about the images. And I've got Photoshop that will be doing the images in Lightroom. I will, if need be, I will put them in the develop module in Lightroom, and we'll show you some optional ways of doing things. We may talk about, Robert particularly may talk about a different shooting mode. And then sometimes we actually take things over into Photoshop, but not very often because it does take a lot of time. So that being said, let me go ahead and share my screen.
You notice how she said Robert, particularly Robert?
Yeah. Well, and everybody can, this way, it's not just Robert, it's not just me, it's not just Sylvia. Everybody can join in. That's one of the things that, can you see my screen?
We do.
Okay. All right, let me.
As Linda, as you have mentioned, that's one of the things that separate us is that anybody can have a conversation.
Yeah, it's not just the pros or the experienced people. We want everybody to join in because you have an opinion too, and we want to hear it, and everybody learns from everybody else making comments. So okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to call out the name of the title, which the title is important because when we look at when these pictures are judged, nobody really knows what your intent is other than what we see in front of us. So sometimes the title helps a lot. So be mindful, your title is important. So don't just send us something that says untitled. That's not going to work. We got to have a title. All right, so this one is On Guard. The photographer is Deborah Albert, and the score is 24.7. Robert, you're going to have to be quick tonight because Jim's not here.
I got to be quick.
Yeah, well, you got to
Oh, my
answer. You usually sit there and don't see anything for 10 minutes. Well, yeah, I mean, that kind of time. So,
Okay.
the assignment,
All right.
the assignment this month is silhouette. So that's what you're looking at now. This signed.
Is Deborah here tonight?
No, she's still on Safari.
Okay. Actually, I found this shot very compelling as a silhouette. I did have an alternative thought to it, though. One of the things about this particular shot is the hair between the legs was kind of,
That's his tail.
yeah. I understand.
Yeah, right.
I understand. But I found it humorous. The alternative was that according to the title, the bird is actually throwing me off in this photograph.
Yeah.
And I think the cropping without the bird, and meaning that an actual crop and not the removal of the bird, would actually help this photograph out in the sense of the title itself.
That what you're
A little bit more in, just a tiny bit more in.
And we do this, guys, because we are visual people, or we would be photographers. We want you to see what it looks like when we make these changes.
Now in this case, I have the 2 lookouts.
Yep. One here.
And it becomes much more compelling to me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think she just liked that bird because it kind of added a little something over there on the left-hand side. But
Right. And
Knowing
as far
Deborah.
as filling the assignment, the silhouette is great. You had three silhouettes here that are great.
Yeah.
So, but I find that according to the title, this is much more compelling. Anybody else?
Sylvia?
When I looked at it, I thought kind of different. I thought get rid of that tiny little thing in the right corner and just emphasize the two larger
This one?
subjects. Yeah, get rid of that and just focus on the bird and whatever is elk or
It's
whatever.
Blessbach, I think.
Then that negates the title.
Well, I didn't hear the title. I'm
Yeah.
just looking at the photo.
Title's On Guard. Yeah.
On
I mean,
guard.
technically he
Actually-
can, but yeah, what is he guarding if there's nobody else there? So that's the only thing. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Actually,
And
Lynn,
someone just said something. Who was that?
yeah, I was thinking that if you left the little guy over there, but crop it in portrait, like if you just did a portrait crop,
Yeah. Yeah. That's what we were doing before. Is it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Get
just
rid of
bring
the
it
bird.
like
and
this.
that little guy doesn't look so weird. Yeah.
yeah, see, it would look nicer
Yeah. Yeah.
proportionally speaking.
Right. Definitely.
And then you'd have a subject, and then there's like kind of like a mirroring effect
Yeah.
with the other one that's all the way in the back.
Mhm.
All right. Moving on. The next one is Lighthouse at Sunset. This one is Marks, and the score is 24.8.
Mm,
Uh,
okay, are we speaking? Can we talk about photoshopping this too?
Yeah,
not yet.
Yeah. Not yet.
Not yet. Now,
Go ahead and
the
let
general
Robert
call
talk
is
first.
yeah. The general call is the judges will say first and then afterwards.
Okay.
All right. Sylvia,
Yes.
your thought on this one, because I wanted to make sure that I came in second on this one.
Okay. Well, I found the shot compelling. I thought it was I enjoyed it. I wasn't sure about all of the brush on the left side. It drew my eye a little bit away because the other side really doesn't have anything. And other than that, the little pole or whatever on
That's it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
That's a little
Thank you very much.
That would be easy enough to take out. But overall, I thought it was a nice image.
He was waiting for
There
that,
you go.
Sylvia.
Yeah.
We can do this.
Mm-hmm.
And then, oh, is that what everybody thinking?
Pretty
And
much.
I think I'd go a little darker on this thing too, because it's a little.
I don't know, the
blotchy.
color in the on Zoom is
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a lot more
it's way
vivid. It's a
down.
lot more vivid when it's on my monitor other than
Yeah, it's a
Color's
lot more
different.
vivid also, Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a lot more vivid.
Yeah.
and stuff. So
But yeah,
Yeah,
but Mark, why'd you leave that little?
the brush stuff on the left side, I kind of debated that, and I don't know. See, with this, it looks like it's missing something, and maybe it's because I know that that's over there.
Right.
The little pole, I don't even know that I really realized it was there.
That's the
That's
part that
called-
gets me, Mark.
So that's
is that
called the
you-
Curtis effect. That's called the Curtis effect, where you don't see things that are obvious to everybody else the minute they look at it.
Yeah,
Right, it was
no,
so
the
obvious.
brush stuff, like I said, I debated that back and forth, and I cropped it out, and then I put it back, and for some reason I like it there, and I don't know. But yeah, I understand not.
It's just another possibility. That's all it is.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm.
Moving on to the next one. A photographer shot at sunrise. This one is also Mark's, and the score is 24.
Well, Mark, I'm going to say to you this. This is less of a silhouette.
Okay.
Really?
Even though, yes, it's less of a silhouette. I'm able to make out a lot of the details of the actual photographers. Now, I'm not saying that it isn't a silhouette. I just say it's less of.
Is that a bad thing or a good thing?
It's neither bad or good. It's just it would be much more compelling had there been an actual silhouette. And the shot itself is a how can I say this? It meets the requirements, but it's not compelling.
That's a
You know
Jim
what's
thing.
funny about you saying that, Robert, is because when I saw that picture pop up, my immediate thought was, how many times as photographers is that us either at the beginning of the day, the end of the day? And that to me was just a very, very telling photograph. That's
Yeah.
That made me think
Well,
of us
actually,
right
this
away.
photo, the bad thing is they weren't actually on the original picture. They weren't supposed to be the focus. The camera club in Pensacola was out doing morning shots at the beach, and we were experimenting with down low and getting the stuff in, you know, the sand and the little hills and valleys and stuff in the sand. And these two photographers happened to walk by and it just once I cropped it down and cropped them into it, it was a lot better picture than what I was trying to get and stuff. And so that's one of those where, you know, it wasn't exactly planned, but it came out better than.
Well, I think that is just telling of any trip we've ever been on.
And
Well,
I thought about cropping it. I thought about cropping it a little bit closer, but when you start cropping it too much, then they weren't, you know, they're starting to blur out a little bit, you know, weren't quite as crisp and clear as what I want them. So when it
This
was
is what
zoomed out,
my point. That is what my point is that they are not crisp enough,
yeah,
and the shot itself is not compelling enough. Now,
yeah,
yes, I agree that it brings in some relatable items to those of us who do this sort of thing,
yeah.
but I'm asking for something that's a little bit more impact.
like the lighthouse.
That's what I'm seeing.
Well, I
Yeah, the
had
lighthouse
another
was
one.
just it.
I had another one of like the Washington Monument, but it looked almost exactly like the lighthouse, except for it was the Washington Monument instead of the lighthouse. And it was like, no, I can't have two that look
That's okay.
look like I just, you know, took the lighthouse out and put the Washington Monument in.
Hey, a silhouette's a
You know,
silhouette.
I think the water is what's distracting a little bit on this one too,
It's very
because
bright. Yeah.
it's brighter than the sky behind them, and your eyes are immediately going to be drawn to the brightest thing in the scene. So I think if you wipe that off with content aware, do you know what I mean? There'll be more focus on them as a silhouettes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very bright. Yeah. That is a possibility. So,
Yeah.
anybody else?
That's what I was saying for Photoshop, because we can just like select that just to make it disappear.
Yeah, but you can actually do it with this.
I mean, you could probably do in Lightroom too. I don't know how well it's gonna do. Let's see.
It's a little rough, but hey, we could do it real quickly here just to see what it looks like.
Yeah.
This is a spot. That's better. I mean, it's not great, but it takes that.
Yeah.
But you get the idea.
Yeah, it
though,
gets
like,
the idea
yeah.
that there's water and there's less
Yeah.
of that brightness. So yeah, that's definitely better.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, moving on. Next one is Out of Here. This one is Lee's, and the score is 24.7. Go ahead, Robert.
All right, Lee, I got a problem with this, and I'd like for you to help me explain it. We're talking about silhouettes here. Great.
Yes.
But you're doubling the two people. I mean, there are actually two people in this photograph, and there are two different situations in here. I'm getting convoluted about the story here. So I'm trying to figure out what out of here means when I got two people that are repeated that's on the phone, and then I got two people that's repeated is walking away, and the two on the right hand side are more in line with what you're saying, and the two on the left are contradicting what you're saying. So help me understand this one.
Yeah, it's the two people it's the person on the right. It's the same person. He's leaving
Right.
and his arm waving up in the air is like, yeah, I'm out of here.
Out of here.
Like,
Well, what about the other two?
it's because it's just a story. You can tell it whatever you want it to be, but
He's
it
leaving
just
her.
looked like he was walking away from the person on the phone who wasn't paying attention. So he threw his arm up in the air. It's just how it played out when I was shooting the double exposure.
Okay, gotcha.
It wasn't staged. It's just what I saw when it happened.
Sylvia?
Yeah, when I first looked at it, I was like, what? And then I realized, oh, it's a double exposure. And the more I looked at it, I liked it very much. I thought it was very creative take on the assignment. And I actually liked it. So
thank you.
Anybody else? All right, moving on to the next one is Catch. And this one's also Lee's, and the score is 24 on this one.
this one for me wasn't quite as compelling as the first one. I liked it, but it didn't draw me in quite as much. The person all the way to the right, it looks like his hand is missing, and the balls. I know that's what they were, but and this little girl, I don't know, she just seemed a little out of proportion to the others, but it was good. Still a creative take on the assignment, but I liked the other shot better.
I think I would have left these other two out and one of the balls and just had these two.
Maybe, yeah.
What do you think, Robert?
Yeah, the perspective is a little off on this.
Yeah. Yeah, this
Yeah,
time.
that's the only way you can get a double exposure on it is to offset them. Otherwise, they're on top of each other. So.
Yeah, this one's a little awkward looking.
And to get the separation.
Yeah. I like the fact that it's really technically not a silhouette because it's dark, not dark, because this is coming through. But as in terms of a picture, forget about the assignment on this one. I would like to see it with just these two people and not these guys and the ball, like this ball here, because it just seems like there's just too much going on.
I'd get rid of the ball there on the left. That to me looks almost like a smudge on the camera.
Like you had a dirty camera.
That looks like a dirty camera.
Anybody else? All right. Next one is In Memoriam, Jekyll Island Icon.
Oh.
This one is Kathy's, and the score is 24.6. Kathy, why is it In Memoriam? Is it not there anymore?
It fell last year in the Hurricane Debbie. And I was told
dog up.
What's that?
Stop the dog from barking.
Oh, then what did you say that score was?
24.6.
Thank you.
Robert?
Yeah. Kathy?
Yeah.
Please tell me you have some more room at the top of this thing.
No.
It's not breathing.
Yeah.
I know.
This shot is not breathing at all.
Take it into Photoshop and add it with the generative expand.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You just
That
need
tree
a
needs
little
to
bit
breathe.
more. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually flipped it. I figured the hurricane clipped it. I could flip it too. So.
And I don't know, but it almost looks like it's not straight. It just might be me.
Well, it probably isn't, but that's not the photo. The horizon
not straight. See the line?
Is straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the tree it's out there in the middle of the ocean.
It's not the horizon is not straight. So yeah, I would have straightened it out and then add just a tad at the top in Photoshop and in this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything else?
Hmm.
Next one is Sunrise Ride.
Oh,
This one is Sylvia's and the score is 24.
very nice.
Yeah.
And I'm a horse person here. My biggest problem with this is I don't know if it's possible. I always try to get the horse's ears up because he looks like he's ticked off. You can't always get that, but it's always a better picture if the horse's ears are, pointing forward. And I was like, almost, is she have some sort of like cape on or something, Sylvia?
But she has a flowing dress out of net, and it was red, and so
Right.
you can see a little bit. If I thought about lightening it, but then I didn't want to do that
Yeah,
because
because
it
it
was
would be a
a
silhouette.
wet photo, and I agree it did look a little.
I was getting ready to ask if that was a person sitting
Yeah,
facing
when I
the
first
rear.
saw this, I
Yeah,
thought there were
same
two
here.
people. Yeah, yeah.
She has a flowing dress on.
Okay.
Robert?
Well, therein lies my problem. There are a couple of things happening here that would make this shot way more compelling. And I talk about that when I was talking about Mark's image. Is that yes, we see the beautiful yellows and the sunset, and we see all of that, but the horse's tail is down. The fabric is up against the person as though it's two people instead of one. And as mentioned, the horse's foot position is in a position that's rather staticky as opposed to flowing or movement. So those are a few things that says that this shot could be more compelling. As far as meeting the assignment, it certainly meets the assignment, yes. But the compelling, impactful image is what I'm looking for.
Another thing when you're shooting horses that are moving like this, it's helpful to ask them to canter or lope or what most people call run, and try to get them with all 4 feet off the ground. That makes a really cool looking action shot. Yeah, this one in terms of where the feet are is kind of, like you said, is awkward looking. He just shot horses last week, so he's now an expert on horses. So
I've been shooting horses for the last 3 years.
So, yeah,
But
Yeah, last 3 years.
Yeah.
With what you
I
just
don't-
said, Lynn,
Yeah.
with this being the end of the day and everything, and them just kind of lollygagging, that seems better to me.
They're not
Then-
lollygagging. She's actually moving. If you look at the wind in her
No,
hair.
no, I know
Yeah.
I know she's moving, but the galloping part or the canter or whatever for the feet to be off, which I understand that rule.
Yeah.
This way to me sets more of the mood of the time of day and all that.
But because I'm a horse person, I know that this horse is actually trotting. And so it's moving quite fast. And so if it was walking, the legs would not be like that. And so it's sort of, like I said, it's sort of a weird position of the legs because of the fact that it's trotting. But horses, you have to catch them at the right moment or the legs look strange. Horses are not easy to shoot at all. They are hard. And so, yeah, it takes a lot of shots and a lot of work to try to get them that they don't look weird. So it's kind of like birds in a strange position. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
Given all the conversation about the horse, I think the rest of the picture, including the horse, is wonderfully exposed.
Yep.
I mean, I can see colors in the ocean there or the Gulf or wherever it is. And also there's nothing that, I can't see the detail in from the very front to the very back. And I like that a lot.
Yeah.
If I could add, I think it's a wonderful picture, Sylvia, but I'm seeing a lot of halo.
Where are you seeing halos?
Well, look at the front. Look at the front of the horse's face. Look at the leg,
Yeah, there is a little bit right here.
and even the woman.
Yeah, I mean the problem is when you're working with contrast like this, it's hard to avoid those.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, but it's removable.
Yep.
Okay, speaking of that, I was thinking that a shot like this would be like perfectly to see the horse and the person really well like this. I think you may need to do this at sunrise instead, because at sunrise the water is all calm.
It is at sunrise.
That is sunrise on the Atlantic
Yeah.
coast.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
well, you're not the Atlantic. Never mind. Then I'll take it back. Then I'm gonna switch it to sunset on the other side of Florida. On our Gulf side, you know, where the water's like not moving at all, and it's like super pretty and clean and calm. You know, so that way you get more definition on the horse and the rider, whoever the rider might be. I thought there were two people too, the way the wind is hitting it. But yeah, I mean, it's really nice when you look at it straight on. So like, let's say you wanted to make a billboard out of this, nobody's gonna see the small details on that.
Right.
You know, if you make it like a really big print, you know, it would look really cool because the colors are really beautiful. Yeah.
Cape Buffalo at sunset. This one is Diana's, and the score is 23.5.
How close was that?
She's not here. She probably shot this with a long lens in Africa, so she's probably quite a ways from it.
That looks very scary.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't get close to Cape Buffalo.
No, that's what I was.
Yeah, it's not really a silhouette. There's too much detail.
Yeah, well, you can fix that really.
Yeah. Robert, is that your issue?
Yeah, that was actually the exact thought, right?
I'm just curious. I mean, I know that the dust in Africa makes things very orangey looking, but I'm just curious to see what this looks like in black and white. Not much. It's just too dark here and too light here. So, anything else, Robert?
No, that's it. It's just a lot of detail in there for it to be a silhouette.
And in this
I mean, you could select if you select all the animals and then just lower use the dehaze on them, the haze will bring it down, and then you'll get more definition on them.
There is a problem with doing that. This particular shot, and you'll see in the next one, that once you darken it down, it becomes a bunch of shapes of like a little mountain.
Right.
Yeah.
As opposed to
yes, it will.
So
it might do that. You have to be very careful. Yeah.
Now, when you go to the next image, this you make out the giraffes, the tree, the whole nine in a silhouetted form, and this is like really the essence of silhouetting.
Yeah, this one's called First Sunset, and obviously it's the baby giraffe's first sunset, and it's Deborah's, and the score is 25.
Baby
giraffe. We got the acacia tree, and then the mama and the baby, and this is about a silhouette all the way around here. I think I would have gotten rid of this little stick right there.
Yeah.
Sylvia, you like this one?
I did. I thought it was a beautiful image. I really didn't have.
I kind of wish that she had gotten a little lower to get a little more of the baby giraffe, because she seems like she's shooting this probably from standing. If she got a little lower and shot up, then you could have seen a little bit more of the body of the baby, because he's kind of chopped off kind of in a weird spot. But other than that, I really like this.
I think that when you're in those little Jeeps, you don't jump out and say, "Hey, look, let me get a little lower." but whatever.
Outside the Jeep, you could probably get out.
Right.
They usually discourage that.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. But what the thing about this shot, what it does is that it's very simple.
Right.
You have the three main elements there.
Yeah.
And those three elements are telling you a great story. The sun is simply setting the stage.
I like the eyelashes on the mama. You can see her
eyes.
So you had eyelashes like that. All right. Next one is manatee viewing. This one is Richards, and the score is 24.3. Robert?
Yeah. The shot works.
Are you all right?
The shot works.
Sylvia?
I liked it. I think it tells a story. You know, you can sort of the down toward the bottom. There might not been quite as much on the right. The person on the right, you can see the color in the clothes. I don't know if you want to be nitpicky about it, you know, but I thought overall it was an impactful shot. I liked it.
Yeah, kind of this bottom part down here bugging me because it's kind of distracting because it's light colored. But if you just
Bring it up.
just
Bring it
a
up on
little
the
bit,
crop. Pull it up. Pull that up on the crop. Not just that. Yeah, yeah. You
yeah.
pull it up all the way until it gets past that come up until it gets past that's it.
Yeah, right there. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yeah.
That way it's more about the
Yeah, that water. The water actually.
silhouettes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Richard,
Yes.
you happy with that one?
Happy with what? This crop?
Yeah.
No,
Yes.
the shot.
Oh, the shot? Yeah. I would have, I would have tried a couple of other things on it, maybe. I did work on the top part there where it's light, where the light hits the water.
I kind of like
And
that.
I brought it down.
Yeah.
There it is in black and white, huh?
Yeah.
That kid with the arms crossed is what makes the shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the green is almost a little distracting. So I kind of like it in black and white better. Whatever. Here we go. Next one. Next one is Inklo Key Light. And this one is berries, and the score is 23.8.
Was that shot with a 600?
Barry, are you here? Barry may not be here tonight.
Oh, this thing looks like an apocalypse.
Yeah, it was shot with 600 millimeter. Yeah, he's been shooting a lot out on the coast at my Tarpon Springs in that area. So yeah, this is cool. I mean, it's a little ragged because they probably had to zoom in on this a lot and cut it, trim it in, but crop it. But yeah, it does look like the apocalypse.
Yeah, it's like that lighthouse being burned down.
Yeah. And then the little bird over here, there's a couple little birds right here and here and here. Kind of cool.
And I would ask Jim, who's not here, is that atmospheric haze that's causing that edge to look ragged?
Yeah, well, he's shooting the sun is a long way away and there's a lot of stuff in between. So it does look a little.
I think 93 million miles away.
Yeah. I think I would have removed some of these little spots that are, in the sun. I'm not sure. And Barry doesn't usually do things like double exposures and stuff like that. So this may be just a regular, exposure for the 600 millimeter. So, Sylvia, what do you think?
That's what I wanted to know is if it's a composite or not.
Doesn't look like it. He didn't put alter reality on it. So.
Yeah, that's what I thought when I first saw it.
Yeah.
I like the shot.
400 or no, I should go to 400. No, it has to be a 600.
Yeah,
it says 600 in the metadata.
Yeah, because I shot with the 400 from Sunset Park, Sunset Beach Park, which is right behind Howard Park, and you can't see it that close with the 400.
Yeah, this is 600.
Yeah,
but I think it's a 600, and then he's cropped it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, next one is feeding.
Oh, that's cute.
This one is Lee Wynn's, and the score is 25.
Lee Wynn, is Lee Wynn here?
No, she's here.
Lee Wynn, I am going to kill you.
Okay.
All right, zoom in right on the mouth. Tell me what that little white thing is.
That's the feeding. That's
the
mom
feeding.
The mom is feeding the chick. That's what
I
the,
know, but what's the white thing?
That's the saliva from the bird.
that's a saliva, that's the liquid.
I hear what you're saying, but in this case,
You're
it messes up the flow because there's not enough of it.
Yeah, get rid of that.
That graphic piece right there that you have is it's giving you the indication that there is more than just feeding. There could be a mother grooming her kid, but when you put that little white thing in there, that one single line in there, then it becomes a distraction.
Yeah.
And I'll ask you, please, Lynn, take it away from me for just 1 second, and because there's not anything else in there to indicate that what's going on there. Just that little piece.
Messed up his bill, but you get the
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
yeah,
about.
it's just too bright, and it's just like, what is that?
Right. And
Looks like
see,
that
that
looks like he had a
interaction,
spider web going across from his face. You know what it is, but nobody else does.
here's why I justify it. Look on the back of the chick's back. You see that little hair?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Yeah.
So that could be confused with hair.
And what's it doing in his mouth?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying is that there's not enough information, but there is so much interaction in this photograph without it.
Mm.
You meet the silhouette requirement. Great. Perfect. You give a compelling story. You gave a wonderful crop, but then you gave me that line.
Okay.
There's always something.
All right, I give you a line.
There's always something.
Okay.
One of those Curtis things, you know. This one is Sailboat Silhouette. This one is Berries, and the score is 25.5.
And I hate the Barry's not here.
I really
Jack, you're a sale guy. Your thoughts, please.
Well, I think it's a gorgeous composition. I'd give it some room at the top, a little more real estate up at the top. It needs that. It needs a little bit. I would give it a little bit more room on the right side as well to kind of give it more vista. And then there's a cloud that I had to look twice to see what it was. Yes, right there. That spot needs to be removed. And also the couple of distracting dark spots in the water that are near, a lot of those could be removed. But this is a gorgeous composition and a gorgeous shot with the lines of the boat and the sunset. It's gorgeous. It just needs a little touch up, in my opinion. To remove some of the distraction and give it a little bit of headroom and try to make it just a little wider on the right side. Those would be my thoughts, Robert.
Yeah. Now, what you just did, just the removal of some of those items, boy, I mean, you talk about a cleanup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This guy came out, Barry came out and he had drool on his shirt and you just cleaned all that drool off.
Lynn, I don't understand why you're using AI for all these minor little touch-ups.
I just have it on there automatically because I use it a lot. So
Can you
Not
see it?
using AI. Did he just use AI for the touch-ups?
yeah, I just do it. I use it on a lot of stuff, so I just leave it on. I should just turn it off, but it's my Lightroom. I can do with it what I want. So there.
In
It just
Lightroom,
takes a little longer.
it does a
Doesn't
much
cost
better
you.
job.
Doesn't cost you anything, so why not? It does a better job most of the time. So
Yeah.
Takes longer.
yeah, that's okay. I got plenty of time. I'm retired. Anything else on this one, guys?
So, Robert, what did you think about the suggestions that were made?
Oh my goodness, well, it shows. That's why I called on you, because I knew you'd be a bit more attentive about, because you're a boat guy, you'd be more attentive about the details.
Yeah, but I hope I never find my boat laying on the side like that.
But if you do, make a picture of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait for the sunset and take a picture.
Be sure to have more room at the top of the sail.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
that's what
Yeah,
Jack
he said
hit.
that too. He
Yeah,
said
yeah.
that too.
Okay. All right. Next one is Gulf Coast Sunset. This one is Kathy's, and the score is 23.2. Kathy, these aren't
Not enough
silhouettes.
of a silhouette.
Yeah, there's too
Yeah,
much
What's that?
detail.
Yeah, it's a little too light.
No, I could have darkened those. Yeah.
And that would have, now I'll tell you this, had you not necessarily darkened it, Kathy, here's what I want you to know. Had you exposed for the sun,
Yeah.
you would have a much more intense flare off that sun
Right.
and much more definition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, it's exposed. The way it's done, I mean, the way you've got it, it's almost being exposed for here. So that's why you're getting detail.
Yes.
And if you had exposed for the sun, these stuff would all be totally black.
It's a wonderful composition you have there.
Yeah.
It's just that the sun needed a little more detail and the trees need a lot less.
Yeah.
Okay.
This one is Night Runner. Oops. This one is Richards, and the score is 23.6. Oh, sorry, guys. There you go. I think there's too much other stuff. What do you think, Robert?
This runs along the line of its partial silhouette to me. Got a little, it's consistent with a lot of detail on the subject, just as we had mentioned about the photographers and the trees that we just saw. A little too much detail and not enough of a black and white in a sense, a dark to light. Richard, your thoughts?
Yeah, after you mentioned on a previous picture that it was like a partial silhouette, I said, oh, he's going to say that about mine too.
Yeah, I kind of like this one better in black and white too. Sometimes the color gets in your way.
I like it like that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just this thing has got way too much color going on in it.
Well, when you do the black and white, add a bunch of contrast to that.
Yeah. There you go.
I like the mood.
Yeah,
it almost looks like a.
I think the purple was kind of okay. Kind of made it more of a now.
Maybe less of the top part. Just your subject's more prominent. Ooh, what?
Yeah, I was thinking that there was just too much going on at the top, so bringing it down, I think would help it out.
Yeah, because then your subject is much more prominent if you get rid of that ceiling stuff.
Oh, that's a wonderful composition there. I'm enjoying the movement.
Yeah.
And the person got darker when you did black and white.
Yep. And we increased the contrast too, which makes a big difference as well. So.
Right.
All right. Moving on to the next one, which is photographers in silhouette. This one is Jim McWilliam, and the score is 23.5. We're too much detail again. You can see too much here. Robert?
And there's a whole bunch of image that is not necessarily getting to the point about detail. Let's crop this down just a touch. You have, Jim, on this one, you do have a composition issue. Pull it into just that sun. Now, and the left side in as well, so that the guy is somewhat on the corner edge. Back, yeah.
I think that's Tori, so watch out what you call her.
Okay.
You're going to blame me, Jim?
Yeah, she tried to push me, and then
That's not nice.
That's Jim right there, Jim Sykes.
yeah.
I just think that the person on the left needs to go away completely.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was going to.
Bye-bye, Tori.
You're cutting me out.
because we got a nice shadow here, and he's much more in silhouette than Tori was. So
Yeah.
yeah, this is
Yeah,
better.
that's way better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I kind of like
Because
the
you
idea
can't
of
tell
a
the
lone
other
I would
person
have to
walking
lose
on the
sight of
beach,
it.
you know.
Lynn,
Wait, hold on,
Lynn.
Mark. You just said something. What was that you said, Mark?
I like the idea of just the lone person walking on the beach, you know, thinking about life and what's going on. Just enjoying
That's
the
Jim
beach.
with 5 cameras taking pictures of the
Yeah.
waves and the sun.
Although, you can't see any of the cameras, so you don't know that that's a photographer.
So, you know, I just see somebody out at the beach, you know, enjoying the sunrise or sunset.
Yeah.
Right.
He was probably shooting a silhouette of this guy.
Yeah.
From the bottom up.
And just by doing that crop, you have a much more compelling shot.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, just too much.
I agree.
Too much
Thank
going
you.
on here. All right. Next one is Evening Ember. This one is Tori's, and the score is 25.4.
Tori.
Yes.
I'm gonna ask. We have a new person here named, what is his name? Roy?
Roy. Yeah.
No,
Yes.
we have it. No, Roy.
Yes, I'm here.
Give me your thoughts.
I like it. I like the rule of thirds. I think the silhouettes are nice. It's not too busy. And I like the color, and the silhouettes are distinct.
Welcome, Roy.
Thank you. You did a good job, Roy.
Thank you.
Yeah, the horizon is not exactly straight, so be careful of that. That's a problem we all have because we never shoot anything straight because we all have either shift to the left or the right. And then the other thing I would say is this little bunch of stuff right here. See the little weeds on the side sticking there. Remember, you don't want stuff sticking in from the side of your frame.
Right.
So get rid of those little guys and you're good to go.
Okay.
And Robert, do you think it needs a little bit more at the top?
No, not in this case.
Okay.
And the reason why in this particular case is that if I go any further, it takes me away from my subjects who are down at the bottom, which is really nicely composed.
Okay.
So the tree top and the tree base they serve as a frame. And so I don't need, if I did, it would just be a slither of more, but not, I don't need much more because of the compelling subjects at the bottom.
All right. Anybody else?
This would make a wonderful ad.
Yeah. Because you got all this place to put print.
Oh my goodness.
Except it's a little weird shape. You couldn't fit that on a page. It's kind of tall.
No, it would be a banner.
It could be a banner.
Yeah, it would be a banner ad.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it'd be a banner ad.
Cool. All right, next one is Heading Home at Sunset. This one is Diana Rouse, and the score is 24.6.
Very nice.
You know the problem with this, and I want to go on record. The problem with this is this. She got a 24.7, right? And she's going to complain about it.
Yeah, exactly what I was thinking too.
24.6.
Yeah, she's going to complain about it.
Oh, yeah. No, she can't because she's not here.
And
be nice, Robert. Be nice.
I want to point this out because when it's really, really good, she doesn't see it.
Diana.
Well, I want to say one thing. This topic obviously is a lot easier to do well in than minimalization.
Yeah.
There's some high scores tonight. I mean, that's nice, but quite the contrast of minimalism.
minimalism. Yeah, I
Minimalization.
just,
Yeah,
I mean, I
It's
think,
hard to say it.
Yeah.
I kind of like a little less sky on this one. And you know me, I'm like adding skies all the time to things. But I don't know, it just seems better. And I don't really like having bird in the center, but for some reason this just looks like too much over here. I'm not sure. Am I off?
Well, now when you in your composition, what you're saying is on the left-hand side, it's not at the same as the right-hand side darkness.
Yeah.
And so that's perfectly valid. So if you came into any one of those dark areas on the left-hand side as your crop, then you'd be yes,
Yeah,
you'd be
this because
perfectly
you've
in
got
balance.
this going on right here. You shouldn't have that right there. I think that's what's bothering
Correct,
me.
correct.
So if we just pull it
Yeah.
in a little bit, that way it's a
Would it
little
make it any
more
better
even.
to have a darker too, to darken up the plants below? Would that do anything for it, or?
I don't know, because then it takes away from this really stark silhouette of the bird. I like it being a little more fluffy. Well,
Okay.
let's try our
So
that's better.
now I call out I call the reason why I'm calling out Diana and I said I'm going on record is because this is a beautiful silhouette.
Yeah.
Just beautiful. So
it's hard
it
to
works.
get all this detail. I mean, she was shooting at 1/8. She's been listening to me. 1/8,000ths of a second.
of a second. Correct.
So that's why there's
And
all
it
this
really
detail. Yeah.
It really works.
Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, just a little bit of crop and it's great. All right. Next one is ancient architecture. This is Lee
that's
Wins, and the score is 24.6.
I would like it better without the waving hand. I want to focus on the buildings, not the whatever. That's some person.
No,
or
they're
something.
statues.
That's a statue? Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
These are religious buildings.
Well, then I take it back. She
See, this
shouldn't
guy's
fall
got
for
a
what
cross
for.
in his hand.
Okay.
Robert?
Well, in this case, I want to add some balance to the shot. And I know it's going to be odd, but I want to see more more space at the top,
Oh, okay. I can't
which
do
means
that.
give it more sky. And by giving it more sky, you actually add
Well, what if we take
uh,
off more bottom? That gives it more
you can
sky.
take off more bottom. You still need more sky though.
Yeah.
For me in this shot. I want to be able to I want to have the weight of that it is grounded. And right now it's more centered. But the silhouette portion of this has been met over and over and over
Yeah, I
again.
mean, and the detail on this, she shot this at f/16, guys. So look at the detail, even with these buildings in the back. It's awesome. I assume
Now,
Leanne, you're on
Leanne,
a tripod.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is.
That's what I was going to
At
ask.
1/8 of a second. So yeah, you
Yeah.
need to be on a tripod. But look at you shooting at ISO 64. So it was it needed to be a long exposure in order to get that. So yeah, just more sky. Would you remove this tiny little cloud right here, Robert?
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's a little distracting right there because there's no other clouds anywhere. All right, next one is Royal Turn. This one is mine. And the score is 24.7.
I must have needed some new glasses on that other shot. I did not see a cloud.
Yeah, it was tiny. It was a little like streak, almost like a jet.
Okay.
streak.
I was having a hard time unmuting.
Still congested. She can't see. Robert.
Well, actually, I want to go back. I want to talk to Victoria on this one.
You want to say who? Yeah.
I think it's
Victoria.
Yes.
Because Victoria made a good point last time. I want to see what Victoria's thought is on this one.
Well,
oh, now we're going silent.
No, I was just sitting here thinking. I think it was a good example also of minimalism.
Yeah.
not just silhouette.
And what makes it a good example of minimalism?
Because you still have that negative space down there in the corner, and you get the bird up in the other corner.
And I actually had to I had to add sky I had to add, you know me, I'm adding sky all the time to my flying bird. So I had to add, I had almost cut him off. I had him so close to the edge, but I had a couple of shots like this. And this was the only one I liked because he had his mouth open.
Yeah, that's good.
You know, all these
The mouth open, the wings separating, the back with the two pieces on it. It has a little more detail than I like, but the composition is really the part that's making it compelling. So
It
you
has
told me you
more
added sky to the
detail.
list?
I mean,
I'm
he's talking
sorry.
about right here, but
Yeah.
you know, with some silhouettes do have a tiny bit. That's why
Yeah, and I get that the opening from on the mouth, all of that is really good. The composition though is exquisite. So Victoria pointed out something that um, tells more about the minimalism of this photograph rather than the silhouette. So that's why the composition works on this one.
It's interesting that there is so much open space there, but I think I would like it if it was close cropped and it really just dominated the had, the black was 90% of the image, or as much as it possibly could. It would just, because it is an overwhelming shape. And if you focus on the shape, I mean, that I love. But that's me.
Either
And
way,
Frank, look, if you override me, that's okay.
you know,
I'm not overriding. I thought this was a
suggesting-
democracy.
Yeah, hey,
Right. No, it's good.
I
Now,
would go-
Lynn, before you move that away, move that, keep that composition. No, go back to your crop. Move the right side out, the right middle out. Give it just a tad bit more.
Yeah, I mean they've
Good,
got to have
good.
they've got to have some room to fly in, and that's I'm
There you go. Yes.
always putting a bird over to the side because they got to have flying room. You want them, you don't want them smashing in. I mean, look at this.
Well,
He's gonna
you know,
smash right into that edge, and you don't want him to smash into that edge. So you got to give him some space.
but you know what? If you don't do that, you don't know which direction he's going.
Yeah. Well,
and then it becomes an abstract.
We don't fly backwards.
Yeah, he has reverse thrusters on there.
Yeah, that's why his mouth is open.
Yeah, but it's interesting when you do it like this crop. I don't notice the nostril as much as when you pull it in closer.
Yeah.
And that, for me, that nostril stands out more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the line by the wings as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
next
Alexandra. Alexandra. I'm going to ask you to do this one.
Okay, this one is best time to fish. And this one is Roy's, and the score is 22.9.
So to me, it's like if somebody's fishing, I'm gonna have to need to see the whole rod and the whole, like him holding it as is actually fishing. Because right now I can't tell if that's his hand. It's really hard to understand where's his other hand. Yeah. And he's also not dark. I can see the back of his head. Like that needs to be darkened. And I don't think the horizon is straight. That's what I see. Like when I
Robert to say now?
As first shot.
Now, Roy, I want to ask you, when you were photographing this shot, your son is highly in focus, and your subject, the guy, is not. Tell me why.
Well, originally I was taking a sunset photo, and it turned out to be a silhouette. So, and I tried to sharpen it up as much as I could.
And so my eye is going to go to the sharpest and brightest area. So when I saw that the guy was a little off from that, that pushed me away from the subject being the silhouette, whereas the sunset became more of the hero in this shot. And as Alexandra pointed out, the pole is going downward instead of upward, so it doesn't give me much of an action of a fisherman as it does a pole that's dangling off the side.
Yeah, it's hard to tell what happens because you can't see his other hand.
Yeah, this looks weird right here.
And it's an awkward position the way he was caught like that.
Yeah. Always look at, what if it makes you look uncomfortable, then it probably is going to make other people who are looking at it look uncomfortable as well.
Yeah.
Now, help me out, Roy. What did you think of what was said?
I think it's fair. Like I said, I took a picture for the sunset, not the silhouette. And I think maybe my knowledge of what he was doing changed my perspective a little bit on what other people might see.
All right.
Okay.
I mean, it's like because when you first look at it, because he's there, you can't you see him first, sort of.
Yeah.
So you have to like, okay, what's he doing?
Right. Yeah, this
that's like
weird looking.
That's why that's confusing a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe
If you were a little further back, maybe if you were further back, then you could have seen more of the scene, so then it would have made more sense as to the fact that he was fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Lynn, can you try in black and white?
I mean, it makes it more, you still can see a lot of detail right here. But it's still, I mean, the issue is the actual position that he's in. It's just kind of awkward looking. But so if his pole had been out this way, it probably would have made more sense. Then you could have chopped off a little bit more of this, and yeah, it would have made it's just an awkward position. So, but hey, that's what we're here to learn.
Well, he's obviously fishing for grouper because he's got his pole down near the water. Because when the grouper hits, you got to pull up so that you snag them good.
Yeah.
So he's obviously digging for grouper. He's waiting for the grouper to nibble, and then he's going to pull his pole straight up in the air. If he's got it up in the air, then he's got no pulling, no ability to pull.
Who's a fisherman expert?
Easy to go to a restaurant.
Yeah, I can almost tell you. I can almost tell you he's using a pen reel too. That's a round reel right there. But that's the reel. He's probably got his hand on top of it, but that's a big round reel. He's grouper digging.
Now, before you move on, Jack, the problem with you is you don't understand how modeling and photography works.
Okay.
He hired this guy. Roy hired this guy to go out to do a shot of a silhouette for this particular assignment.
But he's too much of a realistic fisherman, because most fishermen, whenever I'm fishing, then usually that pole's dangling down, and so you can pull it up. But for photography, then it would probably make a better shot if it was up where you could see the whole thing. But from a fisherman's standpoint, that's pretty much the way you're going to be fishing. So you're capturing a real fisherman and not a model.
This is not about realism. This is about photography and exhibition.
Well, I will tell you, like, that's a big fish pool.
But you also have to wait, like with fishermen, for them to catch something, and then it's like a waiting game. Like they wait for the fish, and we wait for them to take the fish out of the water, basically.
Well, let's just say everything that Jack said is absolutely perfect, and he does have the grouper. What would that rod be then?
Oh yeah, it would be bent over.
The rod would be up in the air with a big bend on it.
That's exactly the compelling shot that I'm talking about.
Shot, yeah.
Oh.
The catch shot.
Yeah. What he needed to do was put a big weight on it and then pull the rod up so it looks like he's got a big fish on it. That would have been the shot. That would have been the shot.
The problem with that, Jack, is that Roy did not get the information on that to make sure to put a weight on it, and then have the guy do exactly what Roy wanted him to do. So
Yeah,
that was
but
the problem, Roy.
watch the next time he goes out on the boat and takes a picture. He's going to remember that.
I'm sure he did.
Yeah, there's
Good
got to be
going.
some staging required, you know. It's
Yeah, that's staging. All right, guys, we got to move on. It's getting late here. This one is called Sunrise Silhouette. This one is Jim McWilliam, and the score is 23.4.
That's a beautiful shot.
A lot of detail in here.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful shot, Jim. It really is.
Yeah.
And it would make a beautiful panorama.
Yeah.
But it's not quite there on the silhouette.
Okay.
Kind of more like a sunset.
Yeah, the birds even got a lot more detail in it too. So yeah, I mean, I think this would look good in metal on your wall.
Absolutely. Beautiful
Where,
shot.
where was this taken?
That was a surf guy with a surfboard.
It's Ballast Point.
That's not in Florida though, right?
That's around the corner.
Yeah.
Where is that?
With that,
Ballast
what's
Point.
this?
Tampa?
Right off of Bayshore.
Yeah.
That looks like a mountain in the background. What is that?
No, it's not. I think it's a phosphate mound or something like that.
I think that's what it is too, Jim.
Yeah.
Huh.
That looks like a cloud.
I could have sworn that was in Georgia somewhere.
Nope.
Yeah.
South Tampa.
All right. Next one is Madman. This one is Lourdes, and the score is 24.3. Robert, say something.
Well, hold on just 1 second. That overly bright edge and the movement with it's I'm not having a reason why there's shake and movement in the actual shot. I understand your subject having movement, but what was the purpose of the movement around here?
Lourdes, you here? Lourdes.
Yes, it's a silhouette. But I think if the edge of the scene had way more detail in it, then the silhouette would be much more pronounced. And
Well, you can
but I'm
tell
just
by
not sure about the movement.
you can tell by the trails that it's camera motion.
We are moving more and more toward replacing the.
I think this would look really awesome as a movie poster.
Yeah, for a creepy thing.
Yeah, it would look really cool.
Lourdes, I'm not hearing from you.
Is Lourdes here?
I saw Lourdes earlier.
Yeah, there's Lee. Turn on the mic, Lee.
It's handheld.
Lee, say something, or Lourdes.
Maybe she had to leave.
Oh, it's just intentional camera motion. That's all. Just to make it look a little abstract.
So my problem still comes to the end. The exposure at the end would make the silhouette even more pronounced, and then it would tie it all together. So my only real problem is that end.
It's too bright, or it's not bright enough?
It's too bright.
Okay. No, I mean, I try to lower it down, but it's blown out big time. There's no data here. And so when you try to lower the white down back there, it just turned gray. So. Anybody else, Sylvia?
No, I don't have anything to add. It was, I think the brightness at the end was, and so the silhouette wasn't quite as strong.
I really like the shot though.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting shot.
It's a really cool shot. Very cool shot.
Watching the sunset. This one is Brian's, and the score is 23.9.
Enlarge the image to that person on the right. Is their hand behind them, or are they facing me?
I think they're facing that way.
Not, I'm talking about the one on the right.
Yeah, his hands look like his arms are like his hands.
No, that's the one on the left. I'm talking about the one on the right.
They
It looks
both
like
have
her
their
hands
arms
are
to the-
behind her back. They're behind her back.
No.
Then why
It
do
looks
I
like
have that
she's
light?
looking at the.
Yes, why do I have a face light right in their
facing
head
you.
area?
It looks like her face has been blacked out.
Enlarge it a little bit more, Lynn. Because
hold
I
on,
don't
my
see-
camera, there we go. It
Because
lights for a second.
it looks more like a leg position is facing me.
Yeah, I think the girl is facing us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because you can't hold your hands on their back like that. She looks like she's holding something in her hands.
Brian,
Right.
do you remember what directions
Maybe.
they were facing?
So I actually changed the title to Enjoying the Sunset.
Well, you
I
had
don't
two different,
know.
you had titles in two different places, so I didn't know which one to watch. So
Yeah,
I didn't
and
know which one to
but
use.
I think that she's facing him, but I don't see why that's like the death knell for this photograph.
It's not the death nail. It's just not. It's not a complete silhouette. It's not enough of a silhouette.
And you got lots of
Really?
halos.
Oh.
Lots of halos.
Yeah, but now you know what the reason why you say that? I mean, the reason why I say that is because if it was a silhouette, I wouldn't be able to see the hands.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. So I have so much detail back there that I'm almost making it out in the head area and the hands and the way the body stance is that it appears as though the person is turned around. So I'm trying to figure out the person more than I am about the actual scene.
Okay.
Now I'll ask Lynn to do this one thing, and I want you to take a brush, Lynn, and in that brush down all the way down the back
On what?
of that person. Yeah, and make sure you don't go outside of it. Yes. Now make that black. Now I have a silhouette.
Okay.
So now I'm looking outward as to what they're doing instead of looking at a piece of detail that's saying, what is that?
Okay.
Next one is a little bit of Atlas. This is Ron's, and the score is 25.5.
I love this one. Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so interested in what Tori's moan meant. I really have to go to Tori and ask about what that moan meant.
What was I moaning? Sorry.
Yes.
Well, I like this picture, and sometimes when I see pictures I will have some sort of expression like wow or something like that. But yeah, I like this one. This is a good one.
My question is this two hands or one hand? Ron?
Looks like one.
It's a single hand.
Just
That's Ron talking.
Yeah.
Ron, tell us about this shot.
So this shot is my wife's hand holding a red agate ball. It's backlit with a small softbox, and then I have an optical spot that's just hitting the ball and the tip of her ring finger, which I had to mask out. And yeah, that's just kind of how it was put together.
I'm just trying to figure out the hand looks, I guess.
So
it's
her
left
thumb
hand.
is on the left-hand side, and then her pinky is kind of crossing the front,
Okay.
and then you've got the ring that's the frontmost finger. It's the left hand.
Okay, now it makes more sense. Left-handed. Sylvia?
Yeah, I thought it was great and very creative, and I liked it very much.
We haven't heard from Leon tonight. Leon, what do you think? Unmute yourself. Leon. Leon's not listening.
I tell you, I do have a comment on. I think it's a very creative
Yeah.
shot, and I really like this particular shot. To be honest, though, to me the fingernails are a little bit. I realize it's a girl's hand and all that, but you know, for an Atlas hat, you know, the fingernails are a little bit distracting to me. But other than that, I think it's a great shot.
The female Atlas. Atlasina.
The fingernails are distracting, you say?
Well, yeah, you're looking at the pointed fingernails instead of the globe, I guess. I guess to me that was just a distraction. But other than that, I thought it was a great shot.
Huh.
Hey, Lynn, I'm sorry. I've been moving around taking care of. I've got a wife I got to take care of who's kind of immobile right now, so I've been moving around.
Okay.
No, I think this is beautiful. Actually, I like the fingernails.
Yeah. Awesome.
It just, to me, I just kind of disagree with what he just said. That's all.
You cannot disagree with Jamaican. Jamaican's a Marine. He served our country.
You don't. You never want to disagree with me and Robert. That's all.
I will say the nails did give me some issues, especially when masking that right, or I'm sorry, the ring finger there. One more in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one there. Because I didn't quite get the leaves of the optical spot to block out the entirety of that fingertip.
Right.
And, just getting the right density of a mask there to make it look good. It was hard. And I still don't think I quite nailed it.
So
I like actually I like the little pinky fingernail just kind of in a glimmer.
Right there, yeah.
Because it adds the rest of them.
Yeah, gives you a little.
What did you shoot it at? Was it like what aperture were you at?
I want to say it was like f8 or f11.
Yeah, f8.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can I ask a question? That's very, very dark. Did you do a lot of post-processing to get the black, complete black?
Not a ton, because the optical spot was the only thing that was front lighting anything. There was a little bit of bounce that was coming in from the softbox at the back. But most of it, the masking was to fix that ring finger and desaturate the skin a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Just a little bit.
Very
wonderful.
A great shot.
Yeah. All right, next one is Love is in the Air. This is Altered Reality. This is Lourdes's, and the score is 24.4.
Altered reality. Now that's the part I missed. But now in the altered reality, I was just saying about those leaves falling. Gosh, I wish Lourdes was here to talk about that. This is a wonderful setup.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Judging, I thought it was very impactful shot and I loved it, but then I started to think about it and I'm assuming the man and woman and the other things are graphics that have been put on. So is that shooting a silhouette? So that would be my question. It is so.
No. I was saying yes. Same thought here. Exact same thought.
It really I love the image, but I don't know if it met even being altered reality. I wasn't. I had some misgivings about the silhouette issue because they're really graphic images put on the sky. But I'm interested to know what you think, Robert, and what the other.
Let's ask Lee what he did. What they did.
Lourdes kind of crashed out on us, but we did a cutout through a Cricut machine, and then we laid it down on a softbox and shot it, and then we took it into Photoshop and did a sky replacement. I wasn't sure if it should have been labeled alternate reality or not, anyway, I
So
just
you actually, the images were paper images, so you actually photographed them. They weren't put in through Photoshop.
right. They're
That makes
paper.
a
Just
difference.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're just paper,
I
and
see.
we did a couple different scenes, and you know, the lights separate, the people are separate, the trees separate, the leaves are falling from the trees, and then we laid out the birds in the sky, and we laid it on a softbox, shot down on the softbox, so it was all white background, and it just seemed to be missing something with just the white background, so did a sky replacement.
Okay.
So it looked like a sunset.
Yeah, it was great putting it together as and it was labeled alter reality, correct?
Yes.
It was. I wasn't sure if it was or
Yeah, it
wasn't,
was.
so
Yeah.
I just put it there anyway.
No, yeah, it's definitely
Now,
altered reality.
now I will say this just in consistency with the assignment. I I really kind of wish this had gone into general.
Well, how okay, question. How is this different than the last shot with the hands? Because I think there was another one prior to that too.
They were actually
Because it's still an object, right? I mean, the hands, the ball, it's still an object, and these are cutouts, and that's still an object as well, and it's still backlit to make it a silhouette.
Yes. Now you make a compelling argument. It's the adding of the sky portion of it in Photoshop.
Okay, but some of the other silhouettes, I'm not arguing with you. I'm just asking for clarification. Like some of the other silhouettes, they had sunsets too.
Yeah, I think
They
it's a
were
matter of between taking a photo and creating a composite.
right. Yeah, you should have taken a sky that you guys took and used that rather than replacing the sky with something.
Yeah, so like if you did
So-
this outside at the beach, like if you took the cutouts, for instance, and put them outside on a bench at the beach and then shot it straight on with the actual sunset, that would be a photo per se. And then
Nah, I
because this was
disagree.
in a composite in Photoshop with the sky, it changes it, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
He said altered
it just-
reality.
It just seemed to be missing something with just the white background
Right.
from
Yeah,
the
it definitely
softbox,
would have.
so-
But it would have been better if you'd used one of your own skies, one Lourdes to take in, and just combine. Composite it would be fine. I mean, we have composites all the time. That's definitely altered reality. This one's a little beyond that because it's almost like all of the photo was created outside of a can. I mean, yeah, you took a picture of the silhouettes, but yeah.
It's not a graphic. It is a photo
Yeah.
because it
Right.
was shot down onto
Yeah.
a softbox with a camera. So the only thing we really added was change the sky out, the white background for sky. So we're just trying to do something a little different, a little creative.
No, Lee, you did. You really did. So I'm not. In fact, that it was labeled altered reality is great. That puts it on par. But as stated, it's the actual sky that becomes the difficulty.
Why
So-
does the sky become the difficulty? I missed that point.
Yeah, I don't get that either. But
Yeah, I mean, compared to the fact-
that's a. Go ahead.
No, I'm asking why is the sky the problem?
It's not his sky.
Neither
So
is
what, we do
those
sky
people.
replacements all the time.
Sure. You don't do them in assignment. You generally do them in general. But I'm not saying that anything is wrong about it. I'm saying to you is that if all of the pieces and parts came from you, it would be much more compelling to me than to have something that comes from somewhere else. Again, I'm not disputing the shot is beautiful. The story is there.
Yeah. Make a good card.
Yeah, I think what's throwing everybody off is that it's a great picture and stuff, but that it looks almost like once you explain what you did, that's even more impressive because it sort of looks like a graphic was stamped on the sky picture, but by doing it the way you did, it does actually meet the picture and everything. So, like I said, actually, it's a great shot. So,
Yeah,
no matter how you
it's
did
It's a
it.
great job.
the sky just kind of to us added something because
yeah.
the white
Yeah, that
background, it
makes it.
was
If it would
just
have
like,
just been a white background, I don't
Yeah,
think it wouldn't have been
yeah, it definitely needed
anywhere
the
near as
sky.
it
impressive.
just seemed to be missing something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely needed the sky, but you should have used one of your own skies. That would have been a little better.
Oh,
Yeah, let's
actually,
move it on.
another item.
Next one is a little tipsy. This one is Ron's, and the score is 25.5. He's making his wife work awfully hard.
You know what? She's always a willing model, though, so I appreciate it.
Is she actually
that's not your
balancing that
girlfriend.
class?
I'm sorry,
Now-
there were a couple questions there.
I'm so interested in what Jim McWilliam has to say about this.
Is he still awake?
I would really like to hear what Robert has to say about this.
Well, I mean, it meets the requirements of the silhouette. I think it's a very creative gesture. Everything separates quite nicely. The black against the white, the slight fill in of the detail on the pearls, but it's a very sexy shot, and I think it's made its point. He's able to hold detail as well as give us a silhouette at the same time. So yeah, I'm good with that. But I really wish Jim McWilliam was here because he could say something about this that I'm very interested in hearing.
Now this particular
Wins of
shot,
dad.
just like his last one. These are absolutely great shots.
Yeah.
You know, Lynn said he's putting his wife to work, but you know what? There's no distraction in this one at all. I think it's a great shot.
Yeah.
And
Very artistic.
yeah, the question was, Ron, did she really balance that glass on her foot?
Yeah, it's all in camera. The glass is really on the shoe.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
it
a
is really
steady
filled
leg.
with liquid.
Even more impressive.
Yeah. How many times did
Yeah.
she drop it?
0.
Zero. Awesome. Good.
Yeah.
He's a good model. Oh, this is
Excellent.
great.
That's a great shot.
Yeah.
It is.
Problem is that there are still different lights also.
Yeah. Shooting. This is guys shooting against the softbox. You know, this is great. Yeah, the way to do this. And obviously you had a little bit of light on these anklets, right, around the shoes.
Yeah, there was a little bit of fill there, and I had some negative fill off the sides to remove some light spill from, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, next one is, we're getting late here. Outlined. This one is Tori's, and the score is 25.1. I want to know what these flappy things
Tori,
are here.
what are those things right there?
It's my hat.
It's a hat.
Oh,
It's a hat.
Oh, now I
That's
see it.
a
It's
hat.
like a sun hat.
That's a
Okay.
hat.
It's a hat.
Oh, all right.
It would have been better if
I
there had been a
didn't-
separation between the edges of the hat and the arms.
That's
Yeah.
what my problem
The
is.
I
hat's
see
pretty
it
big.
now. I
Yeah.
see it now, but I didn't see it at first. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Just a little separation there on both ends.
Yeah, because it's
It's
like, what is that?
green.
I thought it was like a, I don't know. It just looked like weird ears or something.
How did you shoot that?
No, it's like a
it
big floppy sun hat.
Yeah, I just
So
didn't
it
read
kinda-
hat because you don't see any of the edges, you know? 'Cause it's
Right.
if
Yeah.
you had the arms down, maybe a little less on top of the head and more out, that may have given you a little, and you know, you can always make the hat a little floppy so that it's not straight out and gives you a little separation.
Yeah.
But yeah, great
That's what's
silhouette.
missing. Yeah.
Thank you.
And
So
what did you shoot that against, Tori?
yeah, I was just gonna say this is quite a story, Lynn, because I hung a sheet up on a lamp that's hanging from the ceiling, if you can only imagine. And the sheet had like a lot of crevices and lines on it. I tried to heal it out, but I put it in Lightroom and I separated the background and then I just raised the exposure
Great.
and the shadows to
Works.
kind of even out all those lines
Good.
because I don't
You
have a
could have
soft.
ironed it.
This girl
Yeah.
has been using
You could have
Lightroom
ironed that
for how
sheet.
long now? A year?
What's that?
How long have you been using Lightroom? We talked you into using it, what, a year ago, maybe?
Yeah.
Probably less than a year. It was last August, I think, when we were at the West Coast thing in Florida.
Yeah.
It's not been long.
Do you
so-
mean just put a white background in Lightroom? Is that what you meant?
No, I'm just saying I'm praising your ability to use Lightroom after such a short amount of time.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Figured it out, which a lot of
I
people
figured it out.
have a hard time with Lightroom.
And I'm saying iron the sheet.
Iron the sheet, yeah, that always helps.
Yeah, I don't know if that would have helped. It
Yeah.
maybe would have helped a little bit, but yeah, so I put a light behind the sheet, so it's behind me to just kind of bring it up and light it up. So yeah, it was done in the kitchen at home.
Yes.
I was gonna use my daughter, but I didn't get to hook up with her, so I had to jump in myself.
Well, this is a self-portrait. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
It
All right,
is.
awesome. Okay, next one is the cross. This one is Jack's, and the score is 24.3.
Jack, tell me why the blowout?
Because it's the sun. Jack, you here?
Jack left.
Yeah, I forgot I was muted. I didn't want you all to hear my snoring. What was the question, Robert?
Why the blowout?
Because of the sun.
Well, I just wanted it to look like, the heavens are opening up. It's very bright up there, and the sun shining through. I just wanted to give it that impression that the heavens were opening up. I don't guess it sold very well, huh?
It did not sell, Jack.
Yeah, it's
Okay, I'll try something else next time.
Yeah, it did not sell.
I mean,
Oh my.
if you clean up this lens flare up here in the cross, you see that green right there? Yeah.
Yeah, I left that on purpose.
Yeah.
Lens flare.
I could have blacked that out, but I wanted to capture that lens flare.
Mhm. This would actually make a really cool black and white too.
Yeah, let's check it. Yeah, actually, it's a little better in black and white because the white.
Yeah, I like
white's so
that.
white.
Actually, maybe it kind of
That looks
more
very
appealing.
cool. I love it.
I think it kind of looks.
Who was talking?
Yeah, there's just too much brightness right here, I think. And it takes, because this takes away from your beautiful star. That's the other issue, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
All righty. Got a few more to do, and then we got generals to do, so we need to move along. This one is Everglades Sunrise. This one is also Jack's, and the score is 23.9.
All right, now this is a very low resolution image. Why?
Yeah, I'm not sure why.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't understand the question. Why are you saying it's a
How
low?
that is? It's really
Well,
low
if you put it
res.
at 100%, put it at 100%.
It's at
And see
100%.
how small it is.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, something
happened
happened.
by
Yeah,
downloading.
Yeah, you sent me a tiny little image.
Yeah, I don't know why. Okay, I must have goofed up on the transfer of the image because I've got a full image on my computer.
Well, that's where the problem is. Once I got to the image that I enlarged it for the details, it just fell apart.
Yeah, it's just really
goodness.
so small.
Looking in, yeah.
Oh, that's a. Oh my. Okay.
Well, the only thing I don't understand, Jack, if you ran your surgery like this, man, I'm just not sure.
Yeah, it's 640 by 330.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I mean, it's like a quarter of what it should be, or less than a quarter. It's like 0.2 megapixels.
Well,
it's tiny.
I have no excuse for that other than sloppy download and transfer.
Oopsie. Okay, next one is Dwayne. This is Karen's, and the score is 24.4.
Nice.
I just wish there wasn't this behind his head. Karen, could you have
Absolutely.
moved over a little bit to the right and just gotten the window behind him?
No, because then there's all kinds of junk out there.
Oh, okay.
That's the problem, Karen, that top piece up there.
Yeah.
It's really a cool silhouette, though. I mean, I just like I have this thing for eyelashes.
I know. I saw the eyelashes. I like that. Yeah.
Then crop the top part off top of his head. Go ahead and crop that down for me. Just for the. I know it's not what you had intended, but just crop it down to just about his head, right in there.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
You
We still get the eyelashes.
Yeah, you still get the eyelashes, and you still got the. That's the story right there, and it eliminates that big.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brings you actually more into what's important, which is
yes.
what's right here.
I love
Tap the letter F. Tap the letter F for me so we can enjoy.
Yeah.
Much better.
Yeah, nice. You just get just a touch, a little bit of light on the trumpet, a little bit of glow on the side of his face, which that's awesome. Yeah, that's much better without that black part at the top.
Cool. Okay.
And the last one of the assigned is Night View. This one's also Karen's, and the score is 24.1.
Karen, this one has no context.
Is it,
Okay. What do you mean?
Like plants from a see-through thing? I'm confused. I thought at first it was a shadow, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's a silhouette. But are you looking through something?
It's through a frosted window.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought. Okay.
That's the context that's missing.
Okay.
That's yeah.
It's your view when you get up in the middle of the night.
Whoops. Scary out there. All right, let's go. We got 6 generals and we'll be done. This one is Catching Air. And this one is Jim Hagen's, and the score is 23.7. And FYI, these scores will be a little lower because we give an extra point to all assigned. General doesn't get that extra point. So the scores are a little, even for good pictures, the score is a little lower.
Oh, I did not know that.
Jamaican, you're slightly low on your focus there.
Yeah.
Well, we were all at that fairground, and focusing was interesting. Yeah, he was like only 10 feet away from me or something like that. But with all the motion and the jet ski became, really focused. But other than that, it was. I was a little disappointed.
Yeah, it's a little
That
slow.
speed
Yeah.
its speed is a little slow as well.
Too low.
Yeah, you should have probably been shooting this at like 1/2000th of a second, Jim.
Yeah,
and maybe with a little bit higher f-stop too, because you don't have a lot of at a 4.8 you don't have a lot of depth of field here either. That's part of the problem too. So
I asked him to stop.
It's like shooting a bird. You got to be fast.
Yeah, I asked him to stop in midair, but he wouldn't.
Yeah, he wasn't very good at that. Although the guy in the things that went up in the air, they were pretty good at stopping in the middle of the air, pretty good. So anyway, all right, let's go on to the next one.
Lynn, what category was that?
This is general. This could be anything.
Oh, general. Okay.
Yeah, this is general. We're into general now. This one is a meal denied.
That's a pufferfish.
Wow.
That's wild.
This is Roy's image, and it's 23.9.
So cool.
This is awesome.
Now, Roy, you still here?
I'm still here.
Roy, give me more images like this.
Well, actually, this heron spent 45 minutes trying to get that pufferfish in the right dimension so it would fit down, and he finally gave up.
Oh, I get it. It's got to be kind of prickly.
Well, the problem, and I mean, the joy of this is that you didn't give up.
Yep.
Well, I have probably another 100 pictures where you don't have the puffer's eyes.
Yeah, I like to have the eyes. And you shot this as 1/2000th of a second, so that's good for birds. Anytime anything's moving, you need to get that really fast shutter speed. And your eye
Right.
is nice and focused. So yeah, this is great. So this one come in and I'm like, ooh, I wish I'd seen that one.
I love the title.
Yeah. Meal denied. All right, next one is Ovenbird. This one is mine, and the score is 22.8.
And Lynn, I just wish that tail would have been separated from that log.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
Your
it's a little
shark.
blurry.
What I'm saying, your bird is so beautifully defined.
Uh-huh.
The
Sharp.
clarity on that. I just wish it was separated from that log.
Yeah.
That's my only deal.
Couldn't you just darken the log?
It's still overlapping that log.
Yeah.
Mm.
The idea would have been to go out there, tell the bird to stay there, cut off
the
that
log.
piece there.
Yeah, this guy
And
was
then-
around.
then
This was at Fort DeSoto, and this guy was there. So I was like shocked he was even a tree because these guys are really usually on the ground, and I was like so surprised that he was in the tree, and I'm like, oh. So yeah.
What you
And
do
they
is
don't
you
sit
shoot a
still
small
very-
tranquilizer in him and have him move to the left.
Yeah, come on, dude.
Yeah, you're
move
supposed
over.
to get
Just
your
move
model to
over.
move to the left just a little bit. And then
Yeah. Next time I'll ask him. Next one is tricolor heron taking off.
Jim Hagan, I hate you.
This is Jim's, and the score is 22.3.
Jim Hagan, you messed up. You totally messed up on this shot.
I know it's a Robert shot.
No, you see what I'm saying? Now take a look at his legs right down at the bottom. You
Cut
see
him
that?
off.
Oh my
Those are
goodness.
No, those are not legs. Those are sticks.
That's the problem with this, is that I don't need to see those sticks. Bring me a crop in here, Lynn, and let's go for the real thing.
Robert, I gotta tell you what I did here.
Yeah.
I see what you're doing and all that, but he was actually launching himself from a tree, and his legs are all mangled up in them sticks. So that's why I cropped it the way I did.
But look at that! Look at that beautiful the colors you have.
Mhm.
Yeah, all this is what's important right here.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Gorgeous.
That is just
all
beautiful.
right. I agree. I'll send you the bill.
Look, Jim Hagan, you did that only to tick me off. You knew that I would respond this way.
I'm just having fun.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Gorgeous. The colors are just gorgeous.
Yeah.
On this particular bird, because it's a tri-colored heron, they're more gray, but I put my camera on vivid, and they gave it that iridescent color.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're
I'm
breeding.
telling
They're
you.
in breeding colors right now, so they're gorgeous.
Man, look at that. And the clarity on that thing, the detail on this. I knew you were messing with me. You
And
were
he
just
was
doing a
shooting just
marine
that
thing over
one-
an Air Force guy.
1/4000th of a second. Nice
Whoa.
fast bird
Wow.
shot.
With a 600.
Yep, at 600.
Wow.
Oh, good.
What
At
bird is
ISO
that?
8000.
ISO is 8,000. Good Lord.
Well, Z9.
Yeah, the C9 is pretty cool.
What bird is that?
That's a tricolor heron.
Oh,
Yep.
he's so
Wow.
pretty.
Yeah.
So pretty.
Wow. Wow.
All right. Next one is the end of a cloudy day. This is Brian's, and the score is 23.1.
Brian,
Yep,
you still there?
I'm here.
All right, composition is beautiful. I ain't mad at you. This image is flat as all be get up. Let's give it some contrast in here.
Voila. There we go.
Bring those highlights down.
There you go.
Yes, and I want you to just simply go down to your calibrations and give me some greens.
Did you take that on your trip, Brian?
Yes,
Gorgeous.
thank you.
Yes.
Just a little flat. Need a little color. We started here, and we ended.
Yes.
What a
Oh my
difference.
goodness, come on, Brian.
You got the picture. You just got to get the color going here and the contrast.
Okay.
6,000 miles and you bring me back a flat image.
That's Brian. He's good at flat images. And this one is
Oh,
taking
did I
the
get that
plunge.
reputation?
This one is Sylvia's, and the score is 23.1.
Sylvia, I need you to take those whites down. I can't have you blowing out those whites like that.
Okay.
And the feathers on top as well.
Okay.
I can't have you blowing those out. You have way too great an image. And by the way, I know you cropped this in a square format, but I could use a little bit more on
right
the
there,
yes.
right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. There we go. Remember, Tony told us to do this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do. Remember, highlight the bird. Look at what that does.
Now, while you're doing that, before you finish off with that, add a gradient in there, another gradient, and come in it from the bottom, and then darken the bottom. Bring it up a little higher, and give me lower the exposure. Give me more contrast in there. And so now we have something matching.
Yeah. Oops. Yeah, so we started here and we ended up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one thing I put in that radial gradient on the birds has just blown my mind at the difference that it makes. He did a radial gradient to darken the edges, which looks like you did do that here. But then that highlight the bird, and it doesn't take a lot. It just takes a tiny bit of exposure, and it makes the bird just pop off the page. So that's it, guys.
I'm so glad you got stuck with us through the night and listened to all my rant and rave. And I appreciate you, Sylvia, for helping us out.
Yeah.
And all you guys for sticking with us. So,
Great session,
good
guys.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for
Thank you.
Everybody have a good week.
We'll see you next
Have a good
week
one.
for head
See
portrait.
you next Thursday.
Bye-bye.
Hi, have a good night.
Thank
Bye
you.
everyone.